Hello and welcome one and all back to ORL Tier 1 here on a Sunday afternoon. Today we are in round 3 and that takes us to the streets of Saudi Arabia at the Jeddah circuit, and what is sure to be a very interesting evening of racing indeed. And we've got a sprint as well, which is a new format for the drivers to manage, and certainly going to be a very interesting one. We are expecting 19 drivers for the race this evening. We have 17 in at the moment, so hopefully they will be able to join us through out the session, and hopefully I won't have to do too much inviting of drivers midway through. So let's have a look. We'll do a bit of, as we always do, a bit of Tier 2 analysis, as yes, I do have to invite Globdrip, one of the Red Bulls, into the lobby. So Tier 2 just took place, and it is the perfect comparison point for us to have a look at. And just bear with me one moment as I get the results up from that. We're going to be looking particularly at qualifying at the moment to see what kind of times we will be expecting from the drivers. And here we go. So Sparks was the man who put his McLaren, on pole position with a 28.5, which is 2/10 clear of the rest. So I presume we're going to get a little bit quicker than that in this race this evening, but that was still a fantastic lap from Sparks and was a very intriguing qualifying session in Tier 2. And then in terms of results, it was Guga for the Alpine that took out the sprint race in a very chaotic one. And in fact, both races had plenty of chaos and excitement about them. Guga took the sprint race win, and then it was Spicy who took his feature race win, his second in ORL, his first in Tier 2. And he's propelled himself right towards the pointy end of the standings as well. So he'll be really happy with that. And I'm just going to turn my audio down just a touch because it is quite loud. And we're watching Keithy on his lap. He also came P2 in Tier 2 on his debut. So Keith will be very chuffed about that effort. And now making the step up to Tier 1 as well, which is very bold, and we applaud his efforts and his contribution in that facet. So for those who have joined the stream, who are we feeling is going to win tonight? Obviously Abyss has the 2 back-to-back wins leading the championship. Is anyone going to be able to topple him tonight is what I'm very interested to hear. Obviously we don't have any... we don't have a Pocket tonight, who was the main challenger last week, and he got the win ripped away from him in one of the more brutal fashions. That does tend to happen in racing all the time, as SV has set a 28.8 to kick us off, followed by Keith with a 29.6. So yeah, chuck your predictions for the race and the sprint race as well. Obviously with the sprint race, and actually I haven't even explained the format, apologies for that. As Fat Ferret comes to the line with a 29.9. So essentially this qualifying session sets the grid for the sprint, and the sprint is going to be double points to what a normal F1 sprint is, so 16 points for the winner, and then 14, 12, so on, and points go all the way down to 10th. And then for the feature race, it's normal points, full points, and the top 10 of the qualifying grid is going to be reversed. Everyone else will stay the same. So for example, SV is in P1 at the moment. He'll start the sprint in P1, but he will then start the feature race in P10. So that's going to make it really interesting with some of the quicker drivers having to come through the field, but they will have enough time to do it. And the feature race will be a 35% race compared to the sprint, which will be a 25%. So a real interesting format. You might not have caught much of that, of what I said. You might not have understood it, but you will see it shortly. And if you did watch any of the Tier 2 race, you will understand what's going on. His son in the Kick Sauber, reserving for the same team 2 weeks in a row, sets a 29.9, one of the 2 tyre drivers we have on the grid. So it's good to have them along. Tatno's the other one, who's shown some supreme pace, especially in qualifying. So we're going to go on board with him and see if he can repeat some of the magic for Aston Martin here, who I was a part of in Tier 2 today. Didn't have the best of days. So the Tier 1 boys have really got to lift the standards here. The two Mercedes in at 2 and 3 at the moment, both as they were in Tier 2 qualifying, with Wolf coming second, Mickey coming third. So we'll see if that continues. Obviously, the main man, Abyss, has just entered the track and hasn't set a lap time yet. So we've still got plenty to see. Tatno looking good so far. SVYT's banker still a 10th on top, but I believe that is going to be eclipsed by this lap very shortly, as long as Tatno is able to bring it home nice and easy as he hugs the inside before swinging to the outside for the final corner. The most turns of any track on the calendar here in Saudi Arabia, as Tatno now comes to the line. DRS open. He's used all his battery. It won't matter though. It's a 28-1, and that is a 7th, 10th gap to SVYT. It's an Aston Martin 1-2 for now, but maybe not for much longer, because here comes Abyss. 2 race wins in a row, looking to make it 3 today. And wouldn't that just be fantastic? RB already have a win today through Spicy, and a Tier 2 drivers lifting their weight as well. Zonix will be extremely impressed with how his team has started the season. And yeah, you're right, he did lift right at the finish line there, Tatno. I'm not sure why he did that, or maybe he just ran out of fuel or something. But yeah, so he definitely has more time in the bank, as Abyss now flying through the middle sector. And it's a lovely track to do a hot lap on. It can get very tight during the races though, especially trying to make those overtaking moves. Abyss has slid a little bit wide there. He attacked that corner really hard, and he probably lost a minuscule amount of time through there. But it's still purple through the first 2 sectors, at least that's what the game is saying to me. And now Abyss coming around the final corner and keeping it nice and close to the wall there, and then cutting to the inside. Crossing the line, and it is going to be provisional pole. He's eclipsed Tatno by just under a 10th of a second, and that's a 28-0. So it is game on in qualifying. Tatno has a pole position this season, and I believe Abyss does have the other one. So they're tied at a pole position apiece, and they are far and away ahead of the rest of the field. What about Grateful Dog? Isn't on a lap, but Martin is. Martin with a slow start to the season by his lofty standards. Won 3 races in Tier 1 last season. If we have a look at the standings, which you may as well do now, yeah, just the 4 points this season from the 2 races, has 1 DNF. So, from being one of the fastest drivers in the tier, he would be hoping for a little bit more by this stage. But with a sprint weekend, there's a maximum, big slide there, a maximum of 43 points up for grabs today. So, plenty of opportunity, and Martin might have just heard his lap there. He's already on 25% battery, and he isn't even halfway through the lap yet, or he's just over. And another huge slide into the wall he goes. I think he lost a bit of end plate there. No, he didn't, but that is going to cost him a decent lap here. I wonder if he finished it just for the sake of it, or if he'll pull into the pits. But yeah, Abyss leading that championship on 51 points, followed by Tatno in the Aston Martin on 27, so the championship order really reflected by the qualifying at the moment. And then it's Aiden in the Haas, who's in P3 in the championship with 18 points. He picked up a P2 in Bahrain, no result. Last week though, it's Singapore. And then it's Apokic on 18 as well, and Zonix is on 18 as well, so they're all, it's a 3-way tie there. But only Aiden and Zonix racing today, not Aiden. And then SVYT is in 6th on 15 points. Type N TJ, Grateful Dog tied for 12 points. No Type N TJ today though. So Grateful Dog does have a chance to pull away. And Abyss does need to make sure he takes all the right steps today, because as I said, a lot of points up for grabs. If he has a little misstep, it's going to hurt him more than what it usually would in the race. And Klamicki got extremely close to invalidating there. Really on the edge is the McLaren at the moment. They're trying to make up for their poor start to the season. Klamicki and ZX. So rounding the final corner now. And up to the line he goes. As you see, all drivers will get right to the inside here to save them time. And that's a good lap from Clammy Kid, a 28.4. And yeah, I've no idea how he didn't invalidate there. That looked probably over the line, but he's managed to make it work. What about Aiden in the Haas here? Making his way around. It said purple in the first sector. I don't think that's correct though, because I'm pretty sure Abyss had a faster first sector time than what Aiden's just put up. And we're seeing a lot of drivers sliding through these corners at the moment as they're getting to grips with the track. Obviously, it's going to get better as the session goes on. And Aiden now 101.4 split through the middle sector. There's a yellow ahead of him. It's just a car hopefully letting him through. And as you can see, Aiden hugging the inside before he moves to the outside, nice and wide to swoop the car through the final corner, get the best possible exit. And the exit is absolutely crucial out of that final corner. Can really make or break a lap. And Aiden crossing the line relatively neat and tidy. It's a 29.0, and that is P9 for Aiden. Fat Ferret with a struggling start at the moment. He's just had the one race, no points for him yet. He did win a pre-season race, so he'll be hoping that he can put up a result here this evening. I think Z-Deck's got a little bit of a toe there from his teammate, Clammy Kid, just giving a little bit of assistance down the straight. And we'll see what kind of time he can put up with here. Points the car to the inside. And now crossing the line, it's going to be a 29.1. So a lot of laps going around that 29 flat and a high 28 kind of area at the moment. But the likes of Abyss and Tatno can definitely break into those 27s in the late stages. And speaking of Abyss, he's on a lap again. 1.5 tenths up as well. This is a very good start for the RB. And I'm just going to be quiet and let you watch the fastest driver in ORL take us through the rest of this lap at Saudi Arabia. He ducked in to get the slipstream there as well. What's the time going to be? It's going to be a 27.7. And that puts him 4 tenths clear. That's a beautiful lap. Extremely smooth from Abyss there. Not really any major mistakes that I could see. And now with just 4 minutes left in qualifying as well, another just beautiful performance there. Globdrip and FaZe Kane still yet to set a lap. And most drivers in the pits gearing up for their final runs. Abyss is going to have to hurry around if he wants to get another lap in, although I think he might be doing a hot lap, then a cool down, and then another hot lap towards the end. I don't think he's going to pit for new tyres. But what about Martin here? And Apex Stiggers joined just in the nick of time, so the Red Bulls have made it, which is important for them. In their overall constructors, they've scored 0 points so far throughout Tier 1 and Tier 2. So it's been a real struggle for Red Bull so far this season. But this is their chance to turn it around today. As we watch Sun in the Sauber. A reserve driver is looking for a full-time seat. And Kick Sauber do have a full-time seat available for the choosing at the moment. So a good performance today could just land it for him. And Sun now flying through that first sector. Welcome, Noah, to the stream as well. It's good to have you back. As Sun goes almost 6 tenths up. Obviously, Noah, former team principal of the league. Still technically currently on the appeals team, I think, is Noah, but hasn't done much of a job to do so far. So good to see you watching along and still supporting the league. And early indications of qualifying so far. Abyss is flying along for 10th lead, but we do know what Tatno can do in qualifying. So can he get that second pole position in a row? It is a battle for the most poles between 1 and 2 at the moment. And Sun's looking pretty good on this lap so far. Lindsay's calling an Abyss pole. I don't know why you're not here, Lindsay, but welcome to you in the chat as well. And here goes Sun now to the line. And looks pretty solid. It's a 29-1, 8/10th improvement, puts him into P10. So Tatno, there he is, coming out of the track. Abyss back into the pits. Is Abyss going to be able to get back out in time? It's going to be nip and tuck. Let's see who else is on a lap. Keith, he's on a lap. Italian Ramen in P6 at the moment. Is not on one. Clammy Kid. He's had a great start to the lap. Could we see a bit of a surprise package here from the McLaren? Through the middle of the sector. The middle sector. Grateful Dogs retired, P3. Yep, Lindsay, I have forgot you did have your MRI. Just, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. You don't have to stress yourself out too much by coming into the comms. I'm more than happy to continue calling the race. And now we have Clammy Kid. Let's see what he can do before we cross to Abyss and Tatno very shortly. Both on their outlap gearing up for what's going to be a shootout. And no one else looks anywhere near them in terms of pace at the moment. And Clammy Kid coming to the line now. This looks pretty good though. It's a 28-1. It's P2 for the McLaren. Hello and welcome. Is Clammy Kid flying along, and then Jaden coming into P5. SVYT has invalidated, and he's going to have to fly around that track if he wants to get another one in. In fact, he does not have enough time. So SV no better than P6. What about Italian Ramen? No good either. He's out, or maybe could get to the line in time. Tatno in the pits. Did he pick up damage? Yes, he did. Tatno has damage. And that is him out of qualifying as well. So the competitors falling one by one to try and knock off Abyss. No SVYT. Who else? Big Munry could be a challenger. Zonix could be as well. And we're going to have a look at Abyss though, because let's just see if he can go even faster than he already is. He's set an incredible lap time of 27.7 already. And I really don't see anyone else competing for this pole position. We've had a lot of retirements from this session. Abyss flying through. That's a nice line through there from Abyss. What's the split time going to be? It's going to be almost 2/10 up, and he's already 4/10 clear of all comers, and now he's going even faster. Abyss is just on another level compared to everyone else at the moment, and you can see a little bit of a slide there. I don't think that's going to hurt him though, and continues to just fly through, and this is just one of the more impressive performances we've seen from one of the best drivers this game has seen so far in F1 2024, and almost 3/10 up. This is even more dominant than Geordie last season. This is unbelievable stuff. Here we go. Abyss now flying along down the final corner. He's nearly 3/10 up, and he was already 4/10 ahead of the field. Aiden goes 6, bumped down to 7th. Apex Stig sets a 5th place right at the end. But here goes Abyss to make it even better. What a result for Abyss. A 27.5. He goes 2/10 quicker. And that is a pole position by a long, long distance. What about Big Munry? Last one to cross the line. He goes P2. And what a last minute. And Big Munry gets into the 27s. Abyss is not alone, but it is still 4/10 the difference. Big Munry is a shining light late there for Mercedes, but Abyss is just absolutely breaking records as the weeks go on. And are we about to see another clean sweep from Abyss today? This could be a potentially record-breaking season. He's gapping the rest of the field like nothing else. And yeah, you are right. Munry has pulled through right at the end. He did come out of nowhere. He was down in P10, but he has found a way. And qualifying session, we got through it nice and easy, and it's set up to be a very interesting sprint race here. So if we look at the positions here, obviously the grid will be flipped from the main race. So Italian Ramen and SV will be on the front row for the feature race, but we'll worry about that later because we've got a sprint race. Yeah, I need Ryan Cox to make a return. You're right. No, I don't even think he could beat Abyss at the moment with how he's going. Abyss is, by all accounts, dominating all the leagues, all the other leagues he's in as well. So, yeah, it's pretty fantastic. So, what's the strategy going to be? It's probably going to be a soft medium. What we did see in the Tier 2 sprint race was a lap 1 safety car. Everyone pitted. And then, or not everyone pitted, most people pitted and just ran those tyres to the end, and that seemed to be the strategy. So you could pretty easily run mediums all the way, and softs can probably go pretty far as well. So I suspect most of the drivers will be starting on the soft tyre. So it's going to be Abyss leading the way from Big Munnery, and then Clammy Kid and Tapno. And what a qualifying, another great qualifying session. Let's see if it translates to the race. It's going to be Abyss on pole yet again. And we are underway here in round 3, and it's a good start for Big Munnery. Not quite as good as Abyss, and tucks in behind him. Tapno moves ahead of Clammy Kid, and Clammy Kid swooping around the outside to win that position back, and he does so. Abyss already with a good lead, and Apex Stig lost a position to Grateful Dog as well. Plenty of jostling going on between Abyss and Jaden here. Jaden on debut in the Alpine, and they managed to all get it sorted. Looks like everyone's facing the right way so far, and as soon as I say that, Tapno is around and has no front wing, and that's a virtual safety car, and I believe that was caused by contact because that was a violent spin for Tapno, and thankfully just a VSC. I believe he's the only one who's picked up damage. As we have a look at the cars around him, it would have been possibly Clammy Kid he got involved with, or maybe Grateful Dog. But yeah, poor start for Tapno, down to 14th. And he'll have to come into the pits as well. But it will be probably the one and only pit stop he'll have to make, because it's only a 13-lapper. And we should be able to get it done and dusted nice and quickly. Great start for Clammy Kid. This is good signs for McLaren now that they've got a driver. And yeah, you're right, SVYT's had a great start. He's up to P6. He's benefited from his teammates' demise. And Jaden Squires 7th, Aiden 8th. So we're just going to get up the tyres here, just out of interest. And we've actually got a bit of a spread here. I thought pretty much every driver would have started on the softs, but a few drivers have gone onto the mediums as well. So Big Munnery hanging on to Abyss. It has only been a lap. Is anyone going to dive into the pits is what will interest me. It is going to save a little bit of time, but I don't think anyone's going to do it. Besides the obvious of Tapno there picking up damage, and he goes, and PS Bomber taking the gamble as well. Lindsay shouting out that mediums are the better tyre, and we will soon find out if that's the case for most drivers. Abyss has pulled that DRS gap, and DRS will be enabled on this lap as well. So Abyss looking comfortable at this stage, and now that he's pulled that second, I really don't think there's much that can hurt him, as Sun and Zonix having a little bit of battle. Sun goes off the track, and now Zonix has lost another place to Italian Ramen, down to P11. And Tapno and PS Bomber still coming out of the pits as that VSC came in, so they are still a fair way behind. Tapno 20 seconds behind with that wing change, and I think PS Bomber must have needed a wing change as well because he didn't move ahead there, as Ramen had to go off the track, and now he's wheel to wheel with Keithy in the Ferrari. And a poor run there as SVYT is making another move, and 3 goes. So really good start here for SV. Could he be a potential challenger in this sprint race here? Abyss is sitting pretty in front, just managing, you'd suspect. But Clammy Kid getting really close here to Big Munnery. Down the main straight. Noah asking how I went in Tier 2, and I don't really want to talk about it, to be honest. As Abyss goes fast, as Clammy Kid goes even faster, and maybe the McLaren's showing signs here on the medium tyres, which Lindsay did say are the better tyre. They go wheel to wheel through turn 1 and turn 2, and he's done really well there, Big Munnery, to defend that. And Jaden's already picked up a 3-second penalty, and the action just halts for a moment, but Clammy Kid looking really quick. And yeah, so I was in P3 in the sprint race, but I spun out and retired on the final corner. So that was not ideal. And there's an incident. There's a virtual safety car. It's Aiden stopped on the track. And then in the feature race, I finished 9th after my wing got smashed about 3 times. So Aiden has no front wing as well as what I did. And this VSC it's going to help out Tatno and PS Bomber slightly. They would have preferred a full safety car, but that'll have to do the trick for them. Let's see if we can spot anyone else without a wing who might have been involved in that incident with Aiden. I think he was around the P8 region. But everything looks okay. This battle between P2 and P3 looking a bit spicy at the moment, though. DRS now enabled. And Clammy Kid has had a poor reaction to that restart because Munnery has been able to just pull out of that DRS. And Abyss with a 1.6 second lead. Let's have a quick look at the position changes. And yeah, SV up 4 places as Italian Ramen goes down the inside of Glob Trip. A little bit of a battle forming here. Z-Dex is in the mix as well, as is Keithy. Keithy pulls into the pits. Here goes Glob Trip around the outside of Italian Ramen. And oh, he squeezed him into the wall there. And Z-Dex now has got damage as well from that. And Clammy Kid is retired in a completely separate incident. And Grateful Dog's out in the wall as well. What has just happened? 2 of the contenders for the podium have just fallen out of the race as we're watching a completely different incident unfold. Somehow, and Aiden is out of the race as well. What happened there? Oh, he's retired in the pit lane. So I actually would probably put that incident on Italian Ramen. He did not give Globdrip any space at all. And yeah, SVYT is in P3 and no safety car somehow. We continue to go at racing speed, but Grateful Dog and Clammy Kid was in P3. Here goes Apex Stig having a run on SVYT, trying to return the favour after he got past a couple laps ago. And this is wheel to wheel. This is tight. And Apex Stig with balls of steel there and makes his way through. Now Jaden Squires is trying to find a way through on SVYT as well. SV DRS, it's really tight. It's really close. It's really intense racing. And Apex Stig loses out. And now Jaden goes around the outside as well. Big Munnery is coming to the pits. So he's had enough of those softs, wants to slap the mediums on. Martin's up 10 places in this race too. Here goes Jaden now. Jaden to move into P2. But SV is holding that line, and he does hold it. And all of a sudden, SV, he's starting on the front row in the feature race, and he's in P2 at the moment in the sprint. So this is looking really good for the Aston at the moment. The other one, not so much. He's down in P15, struggling away. But we did not see either of the incidents that caused Clammy Kid and Grateful Dog to retire. My guess is that Clammy Kid retired and Grateful Dog somehow got caught up in it. But Jaden now has 6 seconds. And yeah, that Glob Drip and Italian Ramen incident was really interesting. He's coming to the pits now as Italian Ramen. Glob Drip stayed out. And Z-Dex got damage from that too. He's getting absolutely hounded by Martin at the moment, and probably rightfully so. He's struggling with the downforce. And here goes Martin with the DRS open on board to gain his 11th place of the race. And he's still hanging around. Glob Drip, there's a little bit of a train forming behind the damaged McLaren. And this time it's going to be Martin as Jaden gets past SV as well. Abyss into the pits. And swooping through is Martin. Abyss has a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And doesn't that change the complexion of this race a little bit? SV in the pits, Sun in the pits. Apex Stig stays out for the lead. And where's Abyss going to come out relative to Munnery here? Because Munnery did come in a little bit earlier. Here goes Munnery down the main straight. Munnery is going, and Abyss is going to be in front, yes, by about 2 seconds, easily in fact. And yeah, so Jaden now in the lead of this race, provisionally. We're going to go back to the tyres now. So Abyss 10 seconds is a game changer. SV is about 11 seconds behind Abyss at the moment. Munro could be on for a win here. I think he's in the provisional lead. But SV will be trying to hang on to that 10 seconds, which could be a real game changer here. Abyss, this might be the first race that Abyss doesn't win this season. Here goes Apex Stig, flying along, wants to take that provisional lead back. He lifts there. That's a very dangerous place to potentially overtake. So it was pretty intelligent to stay out of that one. In fact, in the Kick Sauber, Sun, who's just pitted, is looking really good. And Apex Stig for the lead of the race does quite nicely. One qualifying lap and now in the lead of the race. So nicely done by the Red Bull. But Jaden is coming back at him. And here he goes indeed down the main straight, and he gets that done as well. Globdrip and Zdex as well fighting. Zdex still carrying that damage, still staying out, which surprises me. I would have thought you'd pit onto the soft tyres from here. There's definitely enough life in the softs to do that. Globdrip switching back on Zdex, gets that position done, and that's a crucial one. Because now he's not going to be held up by him anymore. Martin's up into P3 also. Where does Zonix and Kane come out relative to the field? It's going to be close between Sun and Zonix. I think Zonix should have this one, and he does. So Zonix comes out in P9. There's the top 5 still required to pit. And Abyss is catching up to this pack, so he doesn't want to be held up too much. Big Munnery and SV have a lot of clear air to drive in here. So Abyss is going to want these guys to get out of the way as soon as possible, especially with Zdex carrying damage. And Fat Ferret makes a move past Keithy into P12 also. So nicely done from him. Keithy has lost a couple places now, so a little bit of a struggle there. And a three-way battle here for P3 as well. Martin, who's had a very good opening stint on those medium tyres, he's still trying to run away with this one. Big Munnery picks up a 3-second penalty. Now that is also going to make a difference. Jaden has damage as well on that front wing. I'm not sure if he just picked that up, but I suspect he'll be into the pits now. No, he won't. He stays out another lap. Maybe they are holding out for a safety car here late. And Jaden slows right down, and Martin drifts his way into the pits with Zdex, who I suspect is going to get that wing change. And that does give Abyss a bit of space to work with. It means he's not going to get held up as much. He still does have Globdrip a couple seconds up the road. But what happened to Big Munnery? Oh, he's back in the pits. He's got damage. So that has sort of neutralised him from the race. So Abyss might actually get this win after all. So Munnery now down in 14th. He's put the soft tyres on. And 12 seconds is the difference between Abyss and SV. SV will be watching that gap like a hawk. And Abyss is catching Globdrip. Will Globdrip slow him down here? Abyss is just on fire at the moment. And now Zdex has a penalty as well. He's down in 13th. And where did Martin come out? Martin came out in 9th and has fresh softs as well. Tatno's up into 8th place, but with those older tyres, so that's going to hurt. And now Abyss needs to make this move nice and easy. I think he's going to. Oh, Globdrip. Oh, he's shoved him a little bit there. He has the Red Bull. That was not the cleanest of overtakes there. Not Abyss's fault at all. Globdrip didn't really want to let him go, but he had to. And now Apex Stig and Jaden are in the pits. And Apex Stig now has a 10-second. And now Abyss has a comfortable lead and sets the fastest lap as well. So Apex Stig and Jaden both with penalties. Globdrip has double stacked with Apex Stig. I don't think it cost him too much in the end though. Where's SV? SV is going to come out comfortably ahead of those three. And Zonix might be coming out onto the podium here. In fact, he does. And Tatno's up into P4. So, oh, actually, it's going to be really tight. Have a look at this. With all the drivers coming out of the pits, Tatno and Sun were in the way. Apex and Jaden just got out in front. So that could have been really tight there. And Jaden didn't get his damage replaced. So he's going to be struggling through these corners in particular. And he got caught on the curb and he's nearly spun it. And Tatno, he knows he needs to be careful. Jaden's picked up 9 seconds worth of pens now. And yeah, so now Zonix is in P3. It's a RB 1 and 3. And their overall Constructors' Championship lead's about 20 points. It's looking to get even bigger at this stage. And there's plenty of action that's going on here in this sprint race. And as we look at the edge of the points here, Globdrip ahead of Fat Ferret, who's got a pen. And don't mind me. That was a bit of a voice crack there. Hopefully no one heard that. Tone Run with a 3 second. And Tatno still on the back of this little train here. There's 2 new soft tyre runners. So it's going to be tough, but we know Tatno has speed. And Jaden is carrying front wing damage. So we'll see what happens. There's a huge pack there behind Fat Ferret as well. Globdrip now to move into the points paying positions in this sprint. Oh, actually no, to move into 9th, sorry. It's Keithy who's trying to move into the points positions now, trying to get past Fat Ferret. There's 4 laps to go on this one. There's a huge battle for these last couple points positions. And there's a yellow, it's FaZe Kane out of the race in the wall. And where is that? Aha, it's just in there. He might have clipped that inside wall like a lot of drivers have done already today, in Tier 2 especially. But a safety car, Abyss is very lucky that wasn't a safety car because that would have put an end to his race. But the race is continuing and Abyss has a 14-second gap. I don't suspect that SVYT will be able to catch that. And Noah, I can definitely see what you're saying and I am choosing to ignore it. So let's just continue with the race here. Apex Stig chasing down Zonix on the new softs, but he does have a 10-second, so he is going to struggle to pull that out in such a short period of time. But here we go. Apex Stig around the outside of Zonix, and he gets it. And Tatno and Jaden. Tatno gets that spot with 8-lap-old medium tyres. He is doing a stellar job to be able to keep up with these guys on fresh tyres. And now Apex Stig has that position. Is Zonix going to be able to do anything to reply to it? I don't think so. And Jaden just hanging in there behind. Globdrip as well, making the move past Fat Ferret and Keithy. That 3-car battle continuing as this race goes on. But yeah, Abyss OCE having a grand time out front. Even with that 10-second penalty, he is still having an absolute day of it out front. And I'll see if I have any information on the tyre front. I don't think so. No. There's a bit of a glitch where if you share your telemetry, apparently it makes you lag out. So most of the drivers have turned that off, which unfortunately means I don't have all the tyre info. But we'll have to just manage without that. There's still a big battle going on here. Zonix and Tatno are very close now. So at the moment, it's a provisional RB 1-3 and provisional Aston Martin 2-4, but now it's not because Tatno has just picked up a 3-second penalty, which is going to hurt his chances. This is a nice helicopter shot here as Tatno goes around the outside and he's going to get close to Apex Stig in front. The DRS having a really powerful effect and they go wheel to wheel through the final corner. And Tatno has to have a lot of speed on this track if he's able to do this much with how old his tyres are. And through goes into P3, but with that penalty he's got some work to do to pull away from Zonix. It is very difficult to pull away on this track as well, so he's going to have to do a very special performance here. And Zonix is getting bogged down in between Apex Stig and Jaden right now. And with penalties, we will go to the penalties now. And Sunner's out. He's DNF'd at turn 1, turn 2 there. No, actually, no, he doesn't. He's DNF'd here. I think he might have done a similar thing. So, Sun out of the race. He was having a good one, so that's unfortunate for him. But yeah, having a look at the penalties. So at the moment, it'll be Zonix on the podium and Tatno just off in 4th. And then Martin will come up into 5th, I believe, and then it'll be Globdrip. And then Keithy will be close to Apex Stig and Jaden there. Those big penalties are hurting. And Jaden's picked up 12 seconds worth of track limits, make that 15. So it's been not the best day for him on that front, although he is carrying minor wing damage as Zonix now goes around the outside of Apex Stig. He needed to make that move just to keep in touch with Tatno. Now Jaden's going down the inside of Apex Stig, and Apex Stig not going to fight this one too hard, I suspect. There is 5 seconds the difference in penalties. He just wants to make sure he has that place. As we enter the final lap, Abyss is 15 seconds up the road. A dominant performance once again from the RB. And he's going to make it a perfect run to start the season. And we still have a feature race to go where he will be starting in P10, but somehow I think that's not going to bother him too much. And Abyss has collected every single point available to him this season, bar one. He did not get the fastest lap in the first round, so that's the only point he's missed for the whole season. I think he does have the fastest lap at the moment, and you do get a point for the fastest lap in this format. So Abyss is just absolutely dominating Tier 1 at the moment, and he's looking for his 3rd proper race win. This will be his first sprint win of the season. And he is approaching the final corner now. And Abyss had a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, but then he just put the foot down and absolutely dominated this one. He has enough time to do some nice swerving as he crosses the line to win the Saudi Arabian sprint. And it's by a long, long distance. SV, it looked like he lagged there, but I think that was just me. And he crosses the line for a P2, which he'll be quite pumped about. And then Zonix will come P3, followed by Tatno in P4. So it's a RB13 and an Aston 2-4. So great results for them. And look at the absolute pile up at the finish line here. And there's a Ferrari that's been flipped over. But Globdrip comes 5th, and then Martin all the way up in 6th, and Ferrari with a 6-7, they'll definitely take that. Ferret 8th, Zdex 9th, and Apex Stig finishes off the points paying positions. But what a performance by Abyss once again. It's a 7-second win. Yeah, we need to scout some faster drivers, I think. So if we look at Abyss's winning margin so far this season, round 1 was a 21-second victory, and keep in mind that was only a 20-lap race. Last week was 1 second, but then the next driver behind was 36 seconds behind. And look at all the cars just all DNF'd at the end of the race here. Italian Ram must be wondering what's going on. But yeah, what a result for Abyss. He brings it home for a P1 in the sprint, and that's a full allotment of points once again. He extends that championship advantage. I'll just remind everyone to stay in the lobby. As I also get the qualifying results up. So it's a very good result for SV as well, considering he started 9th on the grid. And now he gets to be 2nd in the feature race. So the feature race is definitely going to be an interesting one here, because Abyss is going to start in 10th. So what I will ask the chat is it going to be Abyss just running through the field again, or is someone going to be able to pick up a win? Like SV is starting P2, so it could be a possible favourite. Italian Ramen starting on pole position. So it'll be interesting to get everyone's thoughts on that. Maybe one of Lindsay's Mercedes cars could find a way. Lindsay reckons it's an Abyss easy win. I think I'm inclined to agree with you. That's the quali order all sorted. Could there be a possible surprise winner? Maybe someone starting in the midfield, maybe like a Tatno or something. He looked like he had really good pace. If it wasn't for his wing loss, he might have been right in it. So, and we have 18 out of 22, so one driver's missing. I think it's Aiden. Yep. And he won't be able to get back in as well. He's having problems with his game. So, all right. So let's have a look at this order. P1 will be Italian ramen. Just going to put the stream on pause for a moment as we set up the grid. We'll be back very shortly. Apologies, my mic was muted. We are red flagging because people forgot to apply their setups. I think everyone's just about gotten the message now. Hopefully we should be able to get this going shortly. Or maybe not. Come on, lads. Let's see who's still racing. Is Jaden in AI or something? I'll pause the stream and I'll be back in 1 minute. All right, let's get going. Apologies for the break in play once again. Pretty much happens every week, doesn't it? And I think that's the second restart we've had today as well. Good to see people giving each other time to get their setups on this time. And if anyone is still here, chuck a prediction in the chat. We'll see. People will be out of practice. It's been that long since we've done a racing lap. So we'll see what happens with the opening lap. Hopefully everyone keeps it nice and clean. And here we go. Italian Ramen leading the way from SVYT for the Saudi Arabia feature race. And we are underway here once again. It's a good start for Italian Ramen. SVYT slots in just behind, or he has a look down the inside and just thinks better of it for the moment. Jaden holding that position behind as well. Tatno and Apex Dig getting quite close together. And there's an incident at the back, a big incident at the back involving FaZe Kane and Globdrip and Martin. And wow, that was huge, that incident. And there's a VSC, actually it's a full safety car. And there's no wing for Big Munry there. And what about Martin? He's got his wing intact. And a damaged wing for Globdrip as well. So FaZe Kane out of the race. And a lap 1 safety car. A great start for Abyss though to sneak up into 6th place. We'll see. I think everyone else has come through unscathed. Let's have a look at the... so everyone on mediums and softs again. Sun has a penalty already. It's a 10-second. Suspect he'll pit to get rid of that, but you can just run hards to the end from here, so I suspect a couple of drivers will attempt that. Otherwise, I think most drivers will be staying out and running a bit of a longer stint. So 16 drivers remain in this feature race. The safety car is out. It's been an even start for the top 5. I think everyone's held position, but Abyss has moved ahead of a couple drivers. I think, Big Manu and Grateful Dog, who've been caught up in some sort of incident, have dropped right down the field, and that's Tatno into the pits. Oh no, SV into the pits. And Tatno, so it's an Aston Martin double stack. So obviously committing to the running hards to the end here for both these drivers, but Tatno is going to get held up quite a bit. Abyss has decided to do the same and come into the pits, put the hards on. I think almost everyone has, actually. So Tatno lost about 3 positions there, or two positions there, with that double stack, but will he make it up towards the end of the race? I think he might. Sun's coming for the hards as well, so everyone from SV down doesn't need to pit again for the rest of the race. So the top 4 are going to need to have some sort of restart here. Otherwise, they are going to be massively caught out. So I think Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for the top four here because they've kind of been caught out by everyone else in the lobby pitting. It's a little bit of a stitch up. So provisionally SV in the lead of the race, and Abyss has already made up a lot of ground. So I think Abyss in the box seat here once again. It doesn't matter what position he's in, he's always able to fight his way back. He's been fantastic at avoiding incidents as well as Abyss. I don't think he's actually really made contact with the driver at all this season, so it's been ultra impressive. So it's going to be an even playing field all the way down here. And we'll get one lap of safety car, should get underway on lap 3. And we'll just take a quick look at the position changes. And Zonix up 6 places. Obviously, a few drivers pitting, and Zonix comes into the pits. He says he thinks he's going to lose out too much. So he's going to relegate himself to the back of the field in order to prevent that from happening. But the top 3 are staying out. Globdrip's coming in again as well. Is that to put the mediums on or get a wing change or maybe both? Nope, just going for the mediums, thinking they're good enough to run to the end. Meanwhile, Zonix goes the hards. So yeah, Italian Ramen, Jaden and Stig have really been caught out here. And SV is going to have to try and manoeuvre his way through here without succumbing to the pace of Abyss behind. So real target on SV's back. Keith, he's actually moved up to 6th place, so a really good start for him in that Ferrari. They've had a good afternoon so far. They had a good result in the sprint. Martin's up into 10th as well, so can they continue their good afternoon is the big question. And yeah, safety car will be in at the end of this lap. So it's going to be interesting to see what these hard tyre runners are going to perform compared to those softs and mediums. And can they pull out enough of the gap to make a pit stop worth it here? I think it's going to be a real struggle for the top 3, but we will see how they go. There has been a lot of incidents, and cannot rule out another safety car. They are pretty common around here, so that will be the sign of hope and encouragement for the front runners as the safety cars in this lap. And Italian Ramen will be leading us away as we see the safety car off into the distance. And now in the hands of Italian Ramen. So when's he going to go here? Here's Italian Ramen. And it's going to be now. And it was a good reaction for Jaden there. And SV as well, who's right in the back. And what happened to Apex Stig? He's all the way down to 7th now. And here goes Jaden trying to fight for the lead. He's trying to switch back here. Cut underneath. Abyss is right on the back of SV as well. And Jaden trying to manoeuvre a way through here. Can't quite find it. There's a lot of position changes going on towards the back. There's a bit of Tatno's been involved, as has Grateful Dog, I think. So not sure what happened. Tatno's now lost a bit of his wing. That's the 2nd time in 2 races. He's lost a bit of front wing. That's a huge slide there for Italian Ramen. That's going to give Jaden a bit of encouragement here. Which way is he going to go down the inside? And that is the lead of the race. No, it's not. Italian Ramen trying to swing it around the outside. He's trying to hold that position. And it looks like he has just... Yes, he has. Very close racing, though. And Abyss right on the back of SV. This is a big battle we need to keep an eye out for as well. Here goes Abyss. Trying to close up, looking inside, outside. Can he find a way? And also Jaden trying to find a way as well. There's nothing doing. They are very, very close, this top four. And then Keithy just following in behind in fifth in that Ferrari. Here we go, though. Now SV attacking Jaden. And you can see from the helicopter shot how close they are. Jaden, is SV going to try and make up 2 places and 2 corners? Yes, he is. Has he gotten the lead? Oh, a little bit of contact. And just restriction for the moment. Abyss also got past Jaden, and now Abyss trying to get past SV. SV doing his best to make sure that doesn't happen, but I think he might be a bit powerless here. And they're going to be wheel to wheel, SV and Abyss. And Abyss just gets a car in front, and that is a big move for Abyss. He moves up into P2, and as soon as he gets in front, he is very difficult to catch. So SV is going to have his work cut out for him. But Italian Ramen is still holding that lead by the skin of his teeth. And ironically, it's a Williams in front of an RB, as it was last week. And Italian Ramen got in the way of his teammate Apokic. But he might not be able to hold the defence for too much longer. Abyss is just bump drafting him along there. He couldn't really, it was a bit risky to make a move down the inside there, and he noticed that. And now a bit of a mistake from SV allows Jaden back in, but SV holds that position, and now PS Bomber down in the pits as well, all the way down in 15th. Tatno decided to stay out with that wing damage in 10th. So we'll see how he goes with that. Abyss now looking to make the move. Every time he's gotten into the lead, he has not looked back so far this season. Oh, that's a bit of a slide there. Maybe the first sign of a mistake that we've seen from Abyss all day. But he's got the DRS now, and he's going to go down the inside of Italian Ramen, and there he goes. And into the lead of the race, but Italian Ramen, it doesn't want to let him go easily. It's a good exit, and the Williams is fighting hard here, but Abyss now has that position and the DRS, and now SV's kind of stuck here between the two of them. He's going to go around the outside, and he does get that move done. So Abyss is in the lead, and SV just behind, but Italian Ramen fighting him back. And he's going to get squeezed here, and he had to pull out of that one, otherwise it would have been disaster. But unfortunately, that little manoeuvre has dropped SV out of DRS range, and Abyss is very likely to just sort of run away with it here, you'd suspect. He has just got the pace to fly away, and no pit stops required for the rest of the race as well. So unless SV can really flip a switch here, looks like it's Abyss in the box seat. And we're going to have a look at this midfield battle between the two McLarens, and Keithy, who's sandwiched in the middle. Clammy Kid, we know, has some pace. We saw it in qualifying. It just needs to translate to the race. He did make a mistake that DNF'd him in that sprint. Now he's up at a P6 past Keithy. And a very nice move at high speed there for the McLaren driver. Now he's got his teammate to contend with in front. Lindsay, Abyss domination, Will Bohr fans. It's a great callback from you there. Here goes Clammy Kid to get 2 places in the space of a lap. ZDex doesn't put up too much of a fight there. And this train continues. SV to a 1.2 second deficit. And now he's got Jaden flying back at him here. Still on the medium tyres, which are a good compound at the moment. And not able to get through. SV just has to hold off a little bit longer, then those hards will kick into gear. And don't forget, Jaden and Italian Ramen have to pit as well. And Abyss has a 3-second time penalty. So it's a little bit interesting here. He's picked up a couple penalties today as Abyss. So SV, he wasn't able to manage that 10-second gap. So if Abyss is able to turn on the jets, I think he should be able to pull 3 seconds quite easily. But he does have that penalty, which is going to be giving SVYT a bit of hope here with 11 laps to go. A late safety car could change the game as well. Zonix and Grateful Dog battling for 12th and 13th as well. We know Zonix made that pit stop a lap after the safety car came out, which cost him a lot, unfortunately. So it's been all RB and Aston so far today at the front of the field. And we're going to have a look at Apex Stig here as he chases down ZDex and Sun in the kick sauber just behind him. Nice little 3-car battle developing. Here goes Apex Stig, DRS open, also for ZDex, but he's got a really good slipstream, does Apex Stig, and he goes into 7th place. And plenty of speed he has, Apex Dig. And that is provisional P5 at the moment. Is that Jaden that comes... No, Italian Ramen that comes into the pits to get rid of those soft tyres. And he gets a 10-second penalty. And that's really going to neutralise his threat in the race. ZDex had a big slide there. And now he's going to be prone to some pressure from Sun. And he was able to just recover that one nicely as the McLaren. So SV still hanging on here. He's doing a pretty good job. And now Tatno has a 3-second as well. It is penalties galore in Tier 1, particularly in that sprint race and now in this race. And look how close Sun is getting to ZDex here. The battle for P7 is kicking off here. And now he's got the inside line. ZDex is going to try and swing it around the outside, but doesn't have enough to work with there. And Sun's able to take that position. Globdrip setting the fastest lap down in last on those new soft tyres. And now Apex Stig has Keithy in his sights as his next target. Apex Stig, don't forget, still needs to pit though, so these places will be most likely taken away from him. There's a yellow, it's Globdrip, who's retired in Sector 1, and that's a safety car. So, this helps SVYT here. It closes him up to Abyss. But does anyone pit onto, obviously, Jaden and Apex Stig will pit, but do Abyss and SV pit? Abyss is, and is SV going to follow him in? Yes, he is. I think a couple of drivers are going to stay out, are they? Or no, everyone's coming in. Keithy comes in. What about Sun? He does as well. ZDex, Tatno, so everyone's coming in. Is it going to be softs or mediums? You could probably run softs from here. I think that's what everyone's thinking. Tatno with a 10-second penalty for a collision with ZDex in the pit lane there, it looks like. I think every driver's going to come in here. Zonix is nice and slow into the pits. He knows he doesn't want to double stack. Yep, so every single driver in the pits. And it's a bit of a difference in tyre selection here. Abyss is on the mediums and so is SV. But you've got Jaden, Apex Stig, Tatno on the softs. And Tatno and Italian Run with 13 seconds each. And Abyss and Sun with 3. So if SVYT can keep himself out of the penalty column, this could be game on at the Jeddah circuit here. We are at half race distance and there's still plenty going on. 14 drivers left. Anyone can still score points from here. No one's been lapped. So that brings the likes of Martin Zonix, PS Bomber back into this race. See if they can score a couple cheeky points. So how does Abyss react to this? A new challenge for him. In the sprint race, there was a 10-second penalty. He was able to pull away, but this safety car is allowing SV to get that DRS back as long as he can hang on to him. So Abyss is going to have to work those medium tyres pretty hard here. And it's going to be pretty tight here. The safety car should be coming in on lap 11. In the meantime, we're going to have a look. Yeah, so those are the tyres. We've got Jaden, Apex, Tatno and Italian Ramen on the softs, which I think personally I would have gone on the softs from here. I think there's more than enough life in them to last to the end of the race, but the mediums will provide that consistency. There you go, Abyss up 8 places from 9th. The reverse top 10 really not causing him any issues whatsoever. SV and Jaden holding station, and that safety car really has saved Jaden and Apex Stig as well in P6. And Tatno's now got another 10 seconds as he's coming to the pits to serve the one he has. So he's actually not going to... He's still going to have 13 seconds after he does this, which is going to frustrate him a bit, I'd suspect. And yeah, so Apex Stig, who's been having a really good race, gets saved by the safety car as well. And Clammy Kid as well is right in the mix. We know how fast he is. So it could be a really good opportunity for the McLaren to maybe step up onto the podium here. Yeah, so Tatno coming out. I suspect he's going to pit again, possibly. Because he still has 13 seconds. But the safety car should be in at the end of this lap. And then we can get going once again. So will it be Abyss or SV, or can maybe Jaden or Clammy Kid come through? Jaden will be quick on those new soft tyres. So we'll see if he can make any inroads with those as well. So everyone on new tyres here. It's going to be an even playing field. And the safety car will be in this lap, starting lap 11. And here we go. So what does Abyss have? It could be all about the restart here for Abyss. If SV is able to react well and put some pressure on, he knows the 3 second is all he needs to stay within, but he also needs to hold off that pressure from the cars behind. Abyss, who has been dominating all season long, is he now vulnerable for the first time this season? As around the final corner, it's all up to Abyss for when he wants to go. We're going to go on board with SV here. He's going to have a look, and I think he did catch him out a little bit there, Abyss, and just a slight advantage, but SV is right there on him and gaining, but not as much as Clammy Kid is on Jaden. And they all go through turn one safely. Sun tries a move on Apex Stig, and they're wheel to wheel, but Apex Stig hangs onto that spot. And now Jaden's got a 3 second penalty as well right off the restart. That is going to hurt him, but you can see how much he is pressuring SV here in the early stages. There's a yellow, and it's Grateful Dog out of the race. In the first sector there, in that spot where I think about 4 cars have DNF'd, and now Jaden and SV going wheel to wheel here. And SV holding the inside line, and he does hang on to it and hangs on to P2, or does he? Jaden cuts underneath him. No, not quite for now. But I know Lindsay in the chat will be not happy about that as I see the message that's come through. And yeah, Mercedes have had a poor afternoon here after a pretty good race last weekend, I believe. So double DNF in the feature race will not serve them too well. Clammy Kid is on a mission though, and Jaden has had a poor set of corners. So can the McLaren get on the podium here? Is looking like an opportunity around the outside. Here we go. Wheel to wheel here. Clammy Kid turns in, tries to squeeze Jaden, and it's going to be wheel to wheel again. Who's going to get the slipstream? It's pretty similar. And Clammy Kid just moves ahead. He makes that move, and he's into P3 and now can put some pressure on SV. So we now get to see Clammy Kid's true pace. We haven't been able to see much of it in race form. And there's another yellow, and it's Z-Dex, who's now out at turn 1. And we didn't get to see that. It was just behind, and PS Bombers hit the wall as well. There's another 3 second for Jaden, so everything's going on here. We're down to 12 drivers, so everyone in this race still has a chance to score points. And Abyss has now broken that DRS to SV, which is not what he wants to see for sure, but he's going to have some pressure on him to try and hang on to that. Jaden with 6 seconds now is provisionally P7. But now Clammy Kid, could he pick up a P2 here, or maybe even a P1 with the pace that he's working at the moment? 1.6 seconds behind Abyss. And his pace has been magnificent so far. What about Keithy as well in P5, looking really good. And Tatno now chasing down Martin. Look at this battle. 3 cars, Italian Ramen, Tatno, and Italian Ramen goes down the inside. That is very, very tight. There's about 5 cars involved in this battle here. And it is very, very, very close as Zonix now tries to find a way through. And this is a great perspective here as Italian Ramen goes around the outside. Tatno tries to follow him and he's had a spin, and so has Martin. And Martin now down in 11th. That's going to hurt. And Clammy Kid in the meantime has passed SV and he's closed right up to Abyss. So maybe Clammy Kid could win this race for McLaren here. What a surprise result that would be. 5 laps to go. He's back in the DRS and now PS Bomber is out, retired in the pit lane. So just 11 drivers left. And he probably could have still had a chance of scoring points there, PS Bomber. So I don't think he really cares too much because he usually drives for McLaren. But Clammy Kid, he was in that DRS for just a moment, but now he's dropped back out. But he is showing that he's got speed. SV might not even be able to hang on to him here. So Abyss has been given something to think about here by Clammy Kid. And we'll see how it goes till the end of the race here. A great result so far for Keithy as well. He's a Tier 2 reserve. He might be moved up to Tier 1 based on how he's gone so far today. SV with the DRS. Next, Clammy Kid is definitely a chance to be a shock winner here today. If these two keep exchanging DRS, they could be able to catch Abyss. And that looked like a bit of a snap there for SV, which could impact him. Clammy Kid looks like he's got the speed in the straight line, just looking at how much he's gaining down the straight here. But if these two are just able to slipstream each other along, they could just hang on. And SV has picked up a 3-second, as has Keithy. So SV has sort of been neutralised in this race, and Clammy Kid might be the best chance to take a win now. So only Clammy Kid, Apex Stig, and Zonix and Martin are penaltyless in this one. So SV's chances of winning might have just gone with that 3-second. And he's cut the chicane at turn 1-2 there. But Clammy Kid still needs SV to help him catch Abyss. So is this going to be a little bit of a team exercise from the McLaren and the Aston Martin here? That's another big cut from SV. He's got to be careful. Might be even worth having a look at the warnings as well. We'll see if Abyss is close to maybe even another one, because I did see him definitely get another warning after his first 3-second. Lap 14 out of 18. SV is going to make the move here on Clammy Kid. And this is what they need to do to make up time to Abyss. And you can see with that DRS help, SV now 1.1 seconds. And this is really what's going to work out for these two. They're slowly gaining on Abyss. It's 2 versus 1. SV is setting the fastest lap as well, and Clammy Kid will get back through. And, oh, it's tight. SV runs off the track. And he's lost a bit of time there, Clammy Kid. And Keithy and Jaden were squabbling away as well. Keithy up into P4. He's had an awesome drive so far today. So we're just going to keep our eyes on this battle between SV and Clammy Kid. Looks like the main fight at this stage. And there's a yellow, it's a Ferrari, I think. Was it Keithy? Oh no, it might be, oh no, it's Jaden, sorry. Jaden does no wing. And that is going to cost him also. So he's going to have to come into the pits. And will he be able to stay ahead of Sun to get that final points position? Abyss has now pulled that gap to 2 seconds. And now Jaden's out of the race. He wasn't able to make it back in time. And now SV gets past Clammy Kid again. So we're down to just 10 drivers. SV has almost lost the 3 seconds to Abyss now. So Abyss has really started to put the foot down here late. And if Clammy Kid can't catch back up to SV here, it could be curtains. And Abyss taking home his 3rd straight win. In the meantime, Tatno, still with 13 seconds worth of penalties, makes that move on Apex Stig. And it's a bit of a thought of what could have been today for Tatno with his pace. He's had 2 incidents with losing his front wing that have led him to this position. And he's probably going to be finishing around P8 at this stage, adding on the penalties. As SV picks up 3 more seconds. And Zonic's up into P6 as well. So it looks like Jaden is just hanging on ahead of Keithy now. So that's going to be his main battle, trying to finish on the podium. But here goes Clemmy Kid with the DRS, and through he goes on SV. He's 3.7 behind Abyss. He's going to somehow have to find 7/10 in 3 laps. And we will just have a look at the warnings just to humour ourselves, but I feel like Abyss has this well under control. There's one. Not sure if corner cutting counts as one, but he either has 1 or 2. Does Abyss. So we'll see if that interests us a little bit. It is 6/10 the difference. So Clemmy Kid, we can't write him off just yet. Anything can happen in league racing. We know that. And we're on the penultimate lap of this one. Abyss looks to have it under control. But a late slip up or 2 could mean Clemmy Kid claims this win. But it is out to 4 seconds now. Every driver's going to get points that is still running as well. So pretty good day for RB and Aston Martin, as well as Ferrari as well. We have 2 cars running in the points. They had a very slow start to the season, so they'll be happy about that. And Red Bull also will be getting points, as will Williams and Sauber. So RB, they're going to extend their championship, Constructors' Championship lead for overall and for Tier 1. And Abyss is obviously going to extend his Drivers' Championship lead even further. There's another 3 second. Oh, there's Martin's first 3 second of the day. And now we're entering the final lap of the race in what has been a pretty grueling sprint. SV not bothering to make the move down the inside. He just knows he just needs to hold off Keith, who's 4.7 behind. And Clemmy Kid is just going to be hoping and praying for an Abyss mistake here. Otherwise, I think he's just going to take it nice and easy on this last lap, is Abyss. And with the penalties here, I think Zonix is probably going to go up to P4. Yeah, at the moment, only just. So Zonix fighting hard to stay inside Keith's 3 seconds. And actually, if we have a look at... he's actually very close to SV's 6 seconds as well. That's a big snap for Clemmy Kid. SV makes his way through. Zonix is he's about 8 seconds behind. He did drop a bit of time there. So he was close for a moment, but not anymore. And we're going to watch Abyss here as he is finishing off the lap through the final sector. And Abyss, in a dominant fashion, is becoming the new force, the unstoppable force of ORL. We saw Geordie pick up 7 wins from 7 races last season. And now we're watching Abyss break records in ORL. That is 3 wins on the trot to start the season and a sprint race victory as well. It's going to be Clemmy Kid in the McLaren who comes home in second, and SV comes home in 3rd. And what a result for the McLaren. That has been a very poor start for them this season. They haven't scored a point yet. And Clemmy Kid now picks up a 2nd place. SV finishes off that podium. Zonix in 4th. And then Keithy on debut in 5th with a great result. And then Stig 6th, Martin 7th. And then Tatno 8th, Italian Ramen 9th, and then Sun in 10th. So Abyss is on fire at the moment. No one is able to match him in terms of pace. And even though he started 9th, he came home with a comfortable win in the end of about 3 seconds, even with a penalty. So, an incredible result. Zonix with driver of the day. I think I'm going to have to give it to Abyss again for a third time here. Coming from 9th all the way back to 1st, and that sprint race win with his 10-second penalty. Obviously it says Clammy Kids first, but Abyss did leave the lobby and it does that glitch sometimes. So no interviews, unfortunately, tonight because I'm on a PlayStation, so we can't do it. But thank you everyone for joining us. It was a long one today in the sprint weekend, but we were able to get the race done and dusted in the end. And Abyss comes out the victor once again. Will anyone be able to stop him? The championship looks to have Abyss's name written all over it at the moment. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week for round 4.